Thank you very much, Dr. Lekov and Peik, for the good start. First of all, let me register my thanks to the government of Arab Republic of Egypt, especially for the Ministry of Water Resource and Irrigation, for giving us the platform to come and participate in this Cairo Water Week. This is the second time for us to come and participate. This is a good chance to interact with specialists and experts from different areas of the world to come and share their knowledge and expert. I will go through our presentation and I will focus on South Sudan as an example because we are facing many challenges, especially for the last 3 years regarding to the global and climate change. Let me start with the presentation outline, if we are together. The presentation outlined will go through first introduction and water infrastructure, current situation of water resource management in South Sudan, and necessary step to regulate water resource in the country. And also I will go through potential and opportunities for the durable solution to the water resource management, flood and drought management in the country. And also at the end, we'll go for way forward and conclusion. Slide. In the introduction, we just want to define the water security, because when we are talking about the climate change, definitely we are talking about the water security. When we talk of water and global change, it's all about water security and the scarcity issues, which is attributed by the two factors. One is population growth. For example, in the Nile Basin, population grows from 238 million to 272 million people. This is from the State of Nile Basin Report 2021. That means there is increase for the last 10 years of more than 44 million people in the region of Nile Basin. And also climate change is a factor also affecting the water security, flooding and drought frequency in the region, especially in Uganda, in South Sudan, in Sudan. It's affected by the climate change. Water security is commonly defined as the capacity of the population to safeguard sustainable access to adequate quantity of acceptable quality water for sustaining livelihood. This is from the State of Nile Basin 2021 report, when they define what is the water security. And also to address this challenge, we need cooperation among stakeholders as a key driver for sustainable and equitable utilization of the water resource. In the Nile Basin, if we are taking as an example, there is 10 countries which share the Nile resource. It starts from Rwanda, Tanzania, Burundi, and Uganda, and Kenya, and South Sudan, and Sudan, and also Egypt. Without cooperation between the basin country, we cannot achieve the resource, or we cannot achieve how we manage or we utilize the water resource in the whole basin country. Next slide. This picture has been taken last week from, if you go back again, this picture has been taken last week from Unity State, Bantu town. If you can see the picture, the level of water surrounding all the village of Bantu Rup Corner. It never happened for the last 60 years in this area, because it's highland, it's considered part of the highland in the state. But right now, if you look into the picture, that's the situation right now in Unity State. We expect more water is coming because there is increase of level of water in the Lake Victoria. Let's go to the next slide. Now, let us talk about the climate change. South Sudan surface area is covered by nearly 18% of fresh water, That's mean 18%. This report since 2019. But 2020 we experienced floods, and 2021 we may expect the area covered by the water could reach up to 2025. The country become one of the fastest warming locations on the globe. That's according to the report we received from the East Africa Flood Forecaster Center, and also according to the Global Climate Risk Index mapping, which ranks South Sudan number 8 on the global. It's become very hottest area. Since 2009 to date, more than 2 million people have been displaced by the flood in large part of the country. The flood from 2019, 2020, 2021 affect most of the state. 8 out of 10 states has been affected and marked by the flood. Next slide. This picture has been taken from Fanjak area, one of the most affected area by the flood this year. This is inside the town, how people are living right now. And we expect more water coming from Bahr al-Jabal. That's the situation we are facing now in South Sudan. It never happened for the last 60 years. But this, for the last 2 years and 3 years, that's the situation we are living in now. Next slide. Now, let us talk about water storage infrastructure. In an ideal situation, that's what the development country and undeveloped country put as an index to know if you are part of the development country or not, based on how you store water in the country. Therefore, South Sudan have a huge gap in terms of water storage capacity per capita water storage. Since the independence of South Sudan, there is no water infrastructure has been put in place, because since South Sudan took independence 2011, it went to the war in 2013 and also in 2016. 2018, 2020, they signed peace agreement. Now we implement the peace agreement. Most of the water infrastructure, when the country is one, has been built either part of Sudan, northern Sudan, or west of Sudan, or some part of eastern Sudan. Just only there is a proposal of Jungule Canal, just only one of the biggest water infrastructure facilities should be built in South Sudan during 19th centuries, but it never happened up to now. So that means there is a lack of water infrastructure in the country up to now. The existing water storage infrastructure are the normal infrastructure, Hafir, many S dams, water supply facilities. That's the only water infrastructure we have in the country. Knowing that most of the land, like 18% to 20% of the land under the water in South Sudan. There's a potential of water resource management infrastructure development has been put in place as a plan in the Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation, and also from the country. As there is a potential project of dam in Fula 1, Fula 2, Baden, Shakoli, Laki, and Juba Barrage, and Jungule Canal, and Su multi-purpose dam, which we are developing with the Ministry of Water Resources of Egypt. This slide shows one of the roads in Jungule State, especially in area of Lawnware. In the dry season, this area, people are suffer. There is no water. But in the rainy season, that's the situation we are in now. Coming from market, going to the village is difficult in this area. This one happened just last year, and the same situation is repeated right now. That's the situation in South Sudan. Next slide. To give you the clear picture, the Sud region used to absorb more than 33 billion cubic liters, just only in Jungule State. This is per year. Every year it's observed more than 33 billion cubic liters of water, just only in area of Jungule Jonglei State. In 2019, South Sudan received additionally 65 billion cubic meters of water, just only in the Sud area, which usually receive just 33 billion cubic liters. But in 2019-2020, it received more than 65 billion cubic liters. That means there's a lot of change in the level of the water. In 2021, the total flood water found in the Sud wetland and surrounding areas increased to over 120 billion cubic liters, which is more than capacity of the Sud itself. That's why most of the area of Jonglei State and Central Equatoria and Eastern Equatoria and part of the Unity State have been merged under the water. That's the situation we are facing now because of increase of level of water in Lake Victoria, also the heavy rainfall in most of the area of South Sudan. Livelihood, property and livestock and wildlife habitats are constantly destroyed. If you can see from the picture, that's the situation people are facing in some area in South Sudan. People are fighting over the highland. Conflict between the wildlife and human, if you can see the picture, the conflict between wildlife and human have increased recently into snake bites and hyena and crocodile. In SSBC in South Sudan has been reported more than 26 vulnerable people, they are women and kids, have been bitten by the snake in region of Warab State and Bahr al-Ghazal. That means it affects even the life of the wildlife in the area. Now people are fighting around the highland in most of the area, like Bahr al-Ghazal and Jonglei State. And also it affects the cost of the humanitarian because South Sudan just come out from war. Some areas need humanitarian assistance. And with the country, with the limited infrastructure, there is no constant road to connect the state with the capital. It becomes difficult for the humanitarian agency to provide food for needed population around the country. Next slide. Now we are talking about the flooding scenario. Increase of water level in Lake Victoria, one of the reasons there is a flood in South Sudan, plus definitely the climate change. Heavy rainfall in the country also affect the area. The water courses are settled and blocked by the aquatic weeds. As you know, South Sudan have many rivers, but for the last 40-50 years there is no dredging of the river, and the aquatic weeds, it's controlling the river basin. That's why it will be difficult. It cannot store more water. Previous flood water for 2019-20 never receded before current flood of 2011. That means the level of water since 2019 has remained 2020 plus the flood of 2021. High velocity flow from the river discharging from Subi Highland also reduced the normal flow of the Bahr al-Jabal. As you know, the highland is a Subi, we have two rivers, a Kobo and some small stream coming from highland of Subi. They come and meet with the Bahr al-Jabal in canal area. That they form what we call White Nile. Because of the high flow of the water from the highland of Ethiopia, it blocked the water coming from Bahr al-Jabal. So the water from highland of Ethiopia will proceed to the White Nile. The water from Bahr al-Jabal will go back down again to Bahr al-Ghazal, which is caused flood at this time. Next slide. If you see the first fix of the this child, she's looking for water for drink. The picture can tell you what is the situation. And down here, you can see also through the other pictures, the water is merging all the village, and at the same time, there is no access for safe drinking water in some part of the country. Development of water, if we are talking about the way forward to solve all these issues, development of water resource master plan is needed in the country. Dredging and removal of aquatic weeds from the river channel is needed also. Construction of dike to protect villages and cities is needed. Construction of multiple navigation, irrigation canals and channels like Jungula Canal, if people agree later on. Development of water harvesting storage is needed. Construction of sufficient reservoir to regulate flow of water, like dams or anything. Establishing of a flood and drought forecasting center. Installation of hydromet network in the country. In conclusion, we are looking forward for partnership to develop the water resource infrastructure, private sector engagement, bridging the gap between humanitarian and development intervention in the country. That's what we think is needed from our partner and our friends. Now, just give me 1 minute. I'll give you some pictures to present the situation of climate change in the country. Let's go quickly through the slide. That's the situation. People are eating. That's Bantu. That's the governor. Go back. That's Dr. Joseph Mentuil. He's the governor of Unity State. He's a graduate from Al-Mansoura University. He's now underwater. You can see the level of water. He's moving around the capital of Unity State. That's the governor of Unity, the most richest state with oil. Another slide. That's the situation. That's the suit. Thank you very much.